This video is to honor this wonderful, beautiful tree that got taken down, and I put you guys in front of the bees just because I thought it might be a little more entertaining in case I'm boring. So diagonally across the street from me there was, one day a tree service crew showed up. This beautiful tree, I knew it was strong and healthy, and I asked them, is it coming down? And they said yeah. And so I said, hey, I'd like to have it, like all of it, trunk pieces and all. And so because my garden's only a few blocks away, I got it all dumped here. It took me a few days to process it. I had to get some help with some of these logs because they were massive. I moved this one by myself. So essentially the tree turned into this path, which wasn't even in the garden before, and the thinking in lining it with all these log pieces, these massive trunk pieces, was that it could be a space for play, because I want to start bringing classes out into my garden to teach about, permaculture, about life, about all these things, and I could totally see kids enjoying jumping around on these logs, and so since they were already dumped here, it just made sense. The other thing I see is it's more of a seating area to teach from, so sitting and taking a break, and just fun to play on. So there's opportunities to practice my parkour, jumping around and balancing, things like that. I got all of these logs for inoculating. The tree, especially a tree that's in winter dormancy, is really good for growing mushrooms on. So I saved all of these that had good bark, and I'm going to inoculate them with oysters. So the other thing this tree gave was mulch for the paths, to have a nice clean path that'll last for a while, and to have it lined with logs that'll last for years. And then on top of that, it's the energy that was stored up, all that carbon that was stored in the trunk. It's just going to feed the soil. It's going to feed the organisms that feed the fruit trees, that feed this garden. And so I was so blessed to receive it. However, there was absolutely no need for this tree to come down. I learned from my roommate talking with the neighbor that it came down because a branch fell on his BMW, his brand new car. And a branch maybe like 4-inch diameter, just from the very top of the tree, and it did some damage. And so this massive tree, this healthy, in its prime still, even though these senescing branches up in the top are kind of like the start of maybe being over the hill, like think of that for us being in their 40s or 50s or whenever that is for you, but just being over the hill was enough for it to be cut down, and it was strong and healthy. I can show you over here on this log that it was about 60 years old. It's such a blessing to have all this great resources, but I live in a neighborhood of, I say ignorance, but just an energy that is very harsh towards living things. People that prune their sagos like this, not knowing that they just killed their sagos. They're not going to regrow. That's not how palms work. Or their loquat trees like this, and that we can all make a difference by reaching out to these people and helping them to connect with living things, because ultimately what these actions show is it's an expression of frustration, it's an expression of disconnection, and it's something that needs to be healed rather than punished. If we see it as like, oh, they're so bad, it's just going to perpetuate it. It's just going to reflect more of it. So maybe you are that mentor to someone else. You might not think of yourself as capable of changing the energetic connection, changing the paradigm, but you probably are able to help somebody else along. And so let this tree kind of be that inspiration for you to go out and say, hey, I don't know, maybe you don't have to lop off the crepe myrtles if that's your cause, or maybe you don't have to be so harsh with ripping everything out and allowing a little bit more to be, just to don't do it through force. I guess that's the lesson that I pulled from this tree, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So it really did make this garden beautiful. I enjoyed jumping around on it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.